Yes, welcome to Home Studio Q&A here on Studio Live today. I'm your Home Studio Q&A host. My name is Pete Johns, and on Studio Live today, my goal here, is to help you create, record, and release your best music. And we do that through tips, tricks, tutorial videos, and live shows just like this one. So if you're here live on YouTube or Facebook, please, if you have questions, there is a little form. You can drop into the form by going down to the description or the pinned comment right here, or you can just go to studiolivetoday.com/QA. That's studiolivetoday.com/QA. And even if you're watching the replay, or even if you're listening to the podcast, go to that website right now. It'll take you straight to the form. You'll be able to throw your question in there, and then it will be available for a future show. So we've got a lot of things to get through, a lot of questions I'm sure that will come in through the show. But for now, let's jump in with our feature topic of the week. Streaming your music or sharing your music online. A lot of folks come to me and say, Pete, what is the best way? What's the best platform? What's the best service? How do you stream your music online? Well, the answer, like most things, is it depends. And there are a range of things that you can use that range from free and not selling or not making money, right up to fully distributing your music to every platform if you are looking to monetize in every way. So let's jump in. I'm going to show you 4 different ways here and talk through the 4 most commonly used platforms. And because I do a live show every week around sharing music, these are the most commonly used platforms for sharing. Before I do though, you can of course share your music as a video. So if you create a video from your song by using iMovie or using an app like Visibel on iOS or however you choose to, then you can share it on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram as a video file. But we're going to look at the audio sharing here. So we have covered video before, and we may cover it again in the future video, but the audio sharing ways that you can do. Now, the oldest, and some would say the best, some love it, some not so love it, is our friend SoundCloud. So SoundCloud, here it is. It's old school. It's been around for 10 plus years. What you can do with SoundCloud is upload your music. Now, you might see here that I've almost reached my plan's limit. So the limitations with SoundCloud is that you do get a limited amount. You get 180 minutes, but that's quite a lot, yeah? 180 minutes of audio to upload before you need to go pro. So this is for a free account. You can, of course, do what some people do and have multiple free accounts, probably breaching their terms of service. So I probably didn't just say that. But if you do want to share your stuff, you can do it here easily. And you can see that I've, over time, utilized this to share a lot of music. The good thing about SoundCloud is that you can just throw your track up here. It's really quick. It's really simple. You can add your album artwork. You upload your audio, and then folks can just come in and hit play. And you're good to go. You can actually have your songs right here. And I kind of use this. You can see I've got some here that are private that I put in here when I'm just sort of testing things out. So you can have private or you can have public tracks. You can tag them with different genres. And really, it's probably if you're just starting out, it's the easiest way because you can jump in there, you get 180 minutes, sign up, share your music, share your links out. People can actually play your stuff. So SoundCloud, pretty cool. Not probably what it was once, but still not bad at all. What is what it was once, or what is a cool alternative to SoundCloud, is this. It's slaps.com. So if we just zoom out a little bit here on slaps.com, so we can get all of the goodness. Oh, I've gone too far. There we go. So what slaps.com does is it allows you to share your music, but it's a different kind of structure. Similar way, you can see everything looks kind of similar there. If you go in, if I go to me, the same sort of thing. We've got, your profile, people can leave comments. But the thing is that this really pushes the community element because you can't upload unless you're actually contributing and commenting on other people's, because there's a comment to track ratio of 5 or more you need to achieve. You see I'm 5.44, so I need to go in and do some commenting on some people's music. But you've got that comment to track ratio, but you can still share. And the good thing about this is unlimited. So you can share an unlimited amount of music as long as you are actually contributing to other folks. You've got some nice groups in here. So we've got groups, for instance, for the Your Music Live show that I do once a week. We've got groups for the Create, Record, Release Facebook group. We've got groups for just GarageBand. You see there's a whole heap of them there. But if you search out here, so if you came in and searched Create, Record, Release, then you'd be able to find this group. And you can see 74 members. So a lot of the folks who are part of the Facebook group that share their music, you can see you can come straight on here and I can play Michael's tune from 9 days ago because I know Michael and I know that he's a part of the Create, Record, Release community. So pretty cool. And again, all you need to do to actually release here is hit the post button here. You upload a copy of your audio, you give it a title, you upload an album artwork. And album artwork, if you're looking for a way to do that for free or for cheap, check the description of this video. Canva.com is my go-to for very effective design work. It's an online design software and it works a treat, especially if, like me, you're a little bit design challenged. So that is slaps.com. Number 3 is Bandcamp. Now, this is something that I don't use a heap, but I know a lot of people that do. So Thomas Christ, who I chatted to this week on the channel, Jade Stars used Bandcamp in the past. It is a good solution, a good in-between solution. So it's not a full distribution service. You won't get it out to Spotify and Apple Music and iTunes and the rest of those, but it does give you the opportunity to upload your songs and then be able to have people play them, listen to them, and then even buy them. So we're at the point now where you're starting to introduce actual purchase options. So if we search our friend Thomas Christ here on Bandcamp, then we can see, yeah, there we go. We've got Thomas's channel there. You can see you've got his recent artwork, his album Virus Infect. So we can actually come in here, and if we wanted to play this album, you can see you get nice headers, nice album artwork, nice background color. There's a community tab there that you can chat, and if you hit the play button, it's going to go ahead and play the tunes and all the different tunes there. You can then check out the lyrics, and you can also buy the track. You can follow artists, and you can buy the music here. There's even a mobile app for Bandcamp, which is cool, except the challenge with Bandcamp is it's not on all platforms. So the reason that I love distributing my music with someone like DistroKid, which is our final service here, is that it just puts your music out there. Now, full disclosure, DistroKid are a sponsor of the channel and they are a paid service. So it'll cost you $19.99 per year, and then you can release an unlimited number of songs, EPs, and albums to Spotify, to Apple Music, to Deezer, Amazon. They go out to more than 100 different locations. The beauty part of that is when you release your music here, it just goes everywhere. You do it once, so it's very similar to putting it on Slaps or SoundCloud, but you hit it once and then they send it out to a whole bunch of different places. So people can then buy it on Amazon or iTunes. People can stream it on Spotify or YouTube Music. And it's just that simple. You just need to upload it once and it goes to all those places. In fact, you can see here all of the different places that all of the different tracks are going to. And you can come back and review that and change it and update it at any time as well. So that is probably the ultimate, but again, you're getting serious then because you're paying to do it. You're paying to actually subscribe and then release your music. So the way it goes is free. Go with SoundCloud, but you have limited time. Want free but unlimited music? I'd give slaps.com a go. You want to take the next step and maybe start dabbling in the world of selling your music? Bandcamp is a free option that you can explore. And then if you're really serious and you really want to start getting a whole heap of music out there and be able to say to people, hey, if you want to find my music, just search Pete Johns on Spotify and people will find your music. Well, your name. Don't tell them to search Pete Johns. Or maybe do. Alrighty, that is going to do it. But thank you. I hope you got some value out of those. And if you are considering sharing your music online, there are some options. And I think the most important thing is that you do share. Whatever you do, whether you use a video on Facebook or YouTube, or whether you share to one of those 4 audio platforms, do share your music online because it's the best way to improve all of your music creation. Yeah, as Gary Hub says, DistroKid shows your bank in fractions of a cent. This is important because every penny fraction counts, right? And EmoBot9000 says, loving DistroKid, can't wait to see where they go in the future. Yeah, like I say, again, full disclosure, they are a channel sponsor, but the reason they're a channel sponsor or sponsor the Your Music Live show is that I've been using them. I don't take on sponsors that I don't believe in the product of, and I was actually the one that said to DistroKid, hey, would you like to sponsor the Your Music Live show? Because I think it's right up their alley, and they said yes, which is very cool. All right, quick coffee break. I'm using my Studio Live Today mug because we know coffee tastes better. Much better from a Studio Live Today mug. StudioLiveToday.com/merch, since you asked. Let's jump over and grab our form, because we do have it hiding behind my StreamYard set up here. and we'll see what questions we have. I do love this because I never know. I never know what I'm going to be answering until I get here. So we have answered that one already, so I'm going to remove it. Right. And we've answered that one too. I realised that I just didn't delete the couple that we answered last week. So now we should be back into the right spot. So we've got a question here from Andy, and let me just zoom in on this so I can actually read it. And he says, "Hey Pete, thanks for producing so many useful videos. I'm amazed at the volume and quality of your output." Well, thank you. Yeah, it is fun. It's when you do what you love, it's easy to do a lot of it. Anyway, my question is, do you have any suggestions for music video tools or concepts? My band is limited on time and equipment due to lockdown in the UK, and we're looking for ideas outside the usual. We've already done videos of us performing separately or together. I've seen your tutorial using Visibel, but wondered if there's anything like this or other video concepts ideas. What a good question. And I'm going to cheat like I normally do and throw this out to the general audience here as well at Studio Live today, because video ideas are interesting. Like I've done a few. So clearly, as you said, you've got the video where there's the four of you perform and you're all in a little box and then you sync it up and that's your video. It's been done a lot. It's still cool. I still like watching videos like that. But if you've already done them, you're looking for something else. There's lyric videos, obviously, so that you can just have an image and then have your lyrics on the screen. I've seen some creative ways to do that, where the lyrics are in different places at different times. Folks like Gary Hubbs, who created a lyric video of his DAW with each clip of the audio having the lyrics on it, and he was moving around. That was very cool and a cool concept. You can obviously record and just do more sort of artistic concepts. So yesterday on Your Music Live, I played a video from Josephine de Smet, and that was a really cool video. Go look it up. Go check yesterday's show and check out Josephine's track if you didn't check it out. So yeah, hers was very cool, different camera angles and of her moving around and doing cool things. So that's another option you have there. And then, as you say, visualizations. So Visibel, or Visibel, as it's spelled, is an iOS app that you can use to just create a visualization of your song. If you use DistroKid, and I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, boys, but I think Andy and Stu from the Indigo Sunsets use this for one of their recent songs. But there is an option here in DistroKid where you can actually create Visi Video Generator. Now, it's not free, but you can actually use this to generate videos very quickly and very simply. I do think, however, someone's got to crush it and create an automated visualization and lyric video engine. It can't be that hard. Someone out there's got to have something for it, but I haven't found anything cool. But yeah, here's what we can do with this. So you've got different sort of options. So say you wanted the mega bass ghetto blaster kind of video here. You can choose what song you want to use. So let's just go with Imagination, which is the song I use for the intro of this. You can get the artist name and the song title. You can use different artwork, or you can use the existing artwork, and then you can allow DistroKid to feature it. You can go square, so you can go a square video, you can go a vertical video, a horizontal video, or a combination of all three. So you can get it that way around. You can get a square for Instagram, and you can get it. What's the other one? Horizontal for YouTube and the like. So you can choose what you want to do there, and the cost though will change based on that. So if you just want horizontal, so you want to release it to YouTube and Facebook and Twitter, $8.99. You want the vertical as well, well, you pay another $8.99, but they give you a little discount. And then you want the square, $25. So it's not super cheap, but it's all completely free, and you get something cool at the end that looks and sounds like this. Except with your actual song. And I won't play any more of that because I don't know what that song is or what it's doing. But yeah, it adds in there, adds your own artwork and your own song, and then you can create your video. So that's another little idea. You can even experiment if you're not sure you want to pay for it yet. You can do mini videos, which are just a little 30-second, or is they 15-second, a little shortened version of those. So you can come in here and do the same sort of thing, and you just get a shortened version, 20 seconds in fact, version of that as a video. So there's a few ideas for you, Andy. If anyone here in the chat has got any other suggestions, then you can let us know here. Joey says you can also use music visual over, think Winamp, to screen record it. Yeah, there you go. Exactly. If you play it back, that's a really good idea. That's a cheap, free kind of way if you want to create a visualization. Is just use any audio player. Be careful around terms of use, releasing their visualizations on your song. But yeah, use any audio player, put the visualization on, screen record that, and then use that and then put your lyrics over the top of that. I like that. That's a cool idea. Alrighty. Yeah, and I do like there's some green screen things that a lot of folks are doing that's actually pretty cool as well. A lot of people are talking about that. Sion said that Video Bolt is another one that I learned from Sanjay C. So that's a good source. Sanjay C is a good dude. So if he's recommending something, it's probably pretty cool. Joey's saying I've also seen cool ones using Keynote. Yeah, Keynote, PowerPoint, like anything that you can create. Canva, as I said before, you can do video stuff in Canva. So canva.com is cool as well. So yeah, there's options out there, but hopefully that helped you out. All right, let's move on. We will remove that question and we'll come to our next question. Quick drinks break. Alrighty, O'Neill and Jones, who I know are here in the chat here, have said, "Hi Pete. Apart from the minimum 2-week wait for a song to hit stores, we've yet to discover any real downside to using Amuse.io for streaming publishing. It's free, although we pay for the pro version, and their support is consistently excellent. Any thoughts?" Yeah, I do. And they're not controversial because they're going to be pretty much what I say about everything. And that is, if you're using something and it's working for you, continue to use it, right? So Amuse, I've used Amuse, and they're good. And in fact, it looks like they've got a special deal at the moment for they've reduced their pro, because probably my biggest criticism of them is that their pro version, which does a few extra things over DistroKid, but not really a lot, is $59.99 a year. Looks like they've just reduced that, so they're $19.99 a year at the moment. So you can go pro for $19.99, which is it's a third of the price that they had there. So that may be that they're looking to compete with DistroKid, who are at $19.99 a year. So the reason I recommend DistroKid over Amuse, apologies, just needed a quick cough. The reason I recommend DistroKid is that I think you get better bang for your buck. I think for the $19.99 you pay with DistroKid per year, you get unlimited releases. They all happen really quickly. They've got a whole bunch of different platforms. What Amuse does have is YouTube Content ID. Now, I'm personally not a fan of adding YouTube Content ID to your music, because it means that if anyone uses your music, then it will put a copyright claim on their video, which for some people can actually discourage them from playing your music. So on my show, on Your Music Live, I don't care, because again, thanks to the sponsors, ironically DistroKid, then I don't monetize those videos anyway. But for folks who are looking to monetize videos and want to play your video, then yeah, if they use your song, it's going to gain a copyright claim. But it does mean that if you have a song that will be used on popular videos and you are looking to monetize it, then you can use Amuse. The other benefit that Amuse has over DistroKid is that they currently have a mobile app. So you can actually do everything. You can release your music. I always do that. I always grab it by the corner and turn it on. So you can use your mobile device, your iPhone, your iPad, your Android device to upload your song, your album artwork, and release it that way. DistroKid are still working on a mobile app, but they currently don't have one. So I mean, like I say, I think the answer to any of this is use what actually works for you. Like you can see here, Amuse is 100% free. You won't go to TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all these places for free on the free version. But if you just use the free version, it does take usually about 4 weeks between when you upload and when the song's actually released. Whack the microphone. And it does still go to lots of different platforms. But yeah, if you want more of those features, you definitely need to look to the pro version. You can do royalty splitting. You can do a whole bunch of other things that you can do with pretty much all of them. What's really happening here is that the market is becoming more crowded, which is always a good thing. Competition is fine and good, and it just means that there's different options that people can use, and whatever option you want to go with and works for you is what you go with. So for me, for my style, for my workflow, DistroKid just works because I pay one fee a year. I pay for the DistroKid Musician Plus account, which is $35.99 a year, and I find that gives me better value than Amuse Pro, which was $59.99 a year. It was just looking at the features, looking at what I wanted to use, doing the maths, and working it out. If Amuse was $19.99 a year and had all those additional features, yeah, I think it's a player. I think it's worth considering. And there's, of course, others. There's CD Baby, there's TuneCore, there's United Masters. I think SoundCloud are getting into the music releasing game now. Who's the Lander, the online mastering place? There's a lot of different ones. So, yeah, whatever works for you. Alrighty. Excuse me. Music therapy says Laz says I'm planning to use DistroKid this year. Yeah, and I know a lot of people are just getting into it. Thomas Christ, again, I've mentioned your name like 4 times. Hope the check's in the mail. Thomas Christ has just started releasing his music. So Thomas, it was kind of inspired by that because Thomas was telling me that he started out using like SoundCloud. He then started uploading his stuff to Bandcamp, and now he's jumping into the world of DistroKid and music releasing. So that's very cool. But yeah, do what makes you happy and use what works for you in your workflow. I'm never going to tell anyone to not do something and to change if it's working for you. Quick coffee break, and then we'll move to our next question. Coffee, coffee, coffee. Question from Abanob says, how to check your mix and master sound like professional studios. I don't think they have time to take this. How do they? I don't think they have time to take this song and listen on their phone and computer and car. What is the solution for that? And better to use monitor or headphones, and what model? Why audio interface is important? And what is that? Sorry, so many questions, but love to hear your opinion. All right. A few questions here. So why use an audio interface? Let's start from the bottom and we'll work up. Why use an audio interface? The quality of audio. So if you plug directly into a iPhone or an iPad or a Mac or a PC, you're using the analog little 3.5mm microphone jack. That's going to generate a lot of noise and it's not going to give you some great quality. So what an audio interface does is it has two things that are important. It has a preamp, meaning you can plug your microphone in and it will pre-amplify that sound, meaning you get quality audio like you're hearing through here on the preamp of my mixer, but you're not going to get a whole bunch of background noise and hiss that you may get if I was using lower quality gear. So that's why you do that. The other part is they've got a digital to analog and analog to digital converter. So that means it takes your analog audio and it converts that into ones and zeros that a computer can understand. So instead of you sending analog audio into your computer or your device and it doing the processing, which is not its forte, you can use an external device like an audio interface or mixer that actually does that analog to digital conversion and then sends a high quality signal to your computer. All your computer then has to do is actually play it back, which it can do a lot better. So that's the reason for getting an audio interface in the first place. Monitor speakers or headphones. Monitor speakers give you a better complete frequency range, and it's the reason that big studios use monitor speakers is that they can get the best response. They get the biggest range of sounds, they can get the low lows and the high highs, and it is just a better overall, generally better, again, subjectively better, listening experience, and you're able to actually mix more accurately. That being said, headphones these days, especially for certain styles of music, do a good job and are a good substitute. For headphones, I use the Sennheiser HD 280 Pro. They are a $100 headphone. They're very much middle of the range. They're closed back, which means they go all the way around your ear, which is important if you're singing. You don't want that mic bleed coming, the audio coming out of your headphones into your microphone. So these are good. Anything from AKG, Sennheiser, Audio-Technica, Sony, that's more than about $50. That's about the price point you can get away with. Anything under $50 tends to be lower quality and you don't get the sound you need to properly mix and master. So $50 if you can, $100 preferably for a pair of headphones. Monitor speakers, they run the gamut. So you can go anything from some little PreSonus. I like the little PreSonus Iris ones. They're about $100 a pair for a little 3.5 inch speaker. I use the KRK Rockets, just 4-inch KRK Rockets. They're about $200 each, so about $400 a pair. And then you go up and up from there. The most important thing, and you mentioned mixing and mastering, in my opinion, the most important thing is getting to know your gear. So it's less important the exact model and specifications that you have. It's more important is knowing what that does and knowing what sound you get and what audio comes out of your speakers or headphones and how that's going to translate. So you mentioned right up front, again, I know I've answered in reverse order. You mentioned right up front, hey, if you're in a big studio, you're not going to go do the car test. You're not going to play it on your phone. Don't be so surprised if they do, for starters. So some definitely still do that sort of thing. But what you'll find in a studio is they'll just have everything. So they'll have a big set of like 8-inch or 10-inch speakers that are their main stereo monitors. They then may have their, there's Yamaha speakers called the NS10s, which are like little tiny speakers that were so crappy that they were just originally hi-fi speakers, but they're used in a lot of studios because they have a really flat, boring response. So a lot of people swear by them. A lot of studios will then have their crappy speaker. So they'll have a mixer that goes out to like 3 or 4 different sets of speakers, and they'll have big stereo monitors, little NS10s, crappy mono speaker that's just sitting there, like little pair of computer monitors that go out via RCA. So they'll try and listen on all those things. And then, of course, a few pairs of headphones so that they can actually get the feel for how is this sounding across all of those. But the thing that a lot of folks that work in studios do is that they know their gear. They know they're set up so well that they can actually tell, even without hearing, even if they're using headphones that they know aren't giving them a completely flat frequency response, through trial and error and repetition and practice, they know what their gear does. They know that their gear gives a little bump in the bass, or they know that their gear doesn't give you as much sparkle in the treble. So they know not to add too much in to try and compensate for that because they know their own gear. So that was it was a long answer, I know, but it was a long question, and hopefully there was a few little tidbits in there that may help guide you along. But the most important thing is, whatever you use, practice with it. It's more important to just have what you use right. Even if you don't have an audio interface, you've got a crappy pair of headphones, practice and see how you can get the best possible sound. Because even when you then upgrade, it's going to help you because you'll then upgrade, you'll get the new gear, then you've got to learn it again, but you've already done it once. And then by the time you're working in a studio on giant like 10-inch monitors and in a nice treated room, then you'll have already had all this practice on lower quality gear. It's like when you start out in anything, like when you first start tennis, you're not going to go out and buy a $1,000 tennis racket. You're going to go down to Kmart and pick up one for $20 and hack around with that. You can still use it. It still works. Same with guitars. No one's buying a Taylor or a Gibson or some people are if you want to flex on people, or a Martin or Mason guitar, their first guitar. No, you'll probably buy the cheap $100, $200 one that's at the front of the shop. So yeah, but then when you learn on that, then you pick up something that's good. It's transferable. The skills are 100% transferable. So thank you for the question, and apologies for the rants. This should be called Home Studio Q&A. Should be called Home Studio Rants, because we do like to rant. We'll have a quick beverage, and then we'll continue on. So Tom, we've got a few comments here. So Tom Rochelle says that they might give you the working master to take home from different places and see if you're satisfied at a pro studio. Yeah, exactly. So you may leave and you'll be able to take your master with you. And that happened with me when even way back in the 90s when I was recording. They would give you, at the end of the day, they'd burn off a CD. Like CD burners were brand new. I think it cost me $10 for them to burn a CD. And then you take that home and listen, and then you come back and say, actually, in this one, I want more bass. In this one, I want more treble, etc. Kali studio monitors are great for the dollars. Yeah, Mark uses the Eris 3.5, and they are great proximity monitors. Very cool. Music Therapy says, had NS10s in our studio in the 90s, and then hi-fi systems and a PA to test. And of course, the car systems too. Yeah. There's a lot of things you can do there. I did see a quick question when we were talking about distributing, and someone had a question. Oh, now I can't even find it. There it is. How do you get Content ID on YouTube? I need to know that. I did touch on it briefly, but I'll talk it through again. So if you're not familiar with what Content ID is, it is a way to monetize your music when other people use it in their videos. So for DistroKid, for example, it is an additional cost. So Amuse Free used to have it, but now doesn't. So Amuse Pro gives you YouTube Content ID for free. Some distributors like CD Baby and TuneCore, it's part of the package. If you pay for like the $50 releasing an EP or single kind of cost, for DistroKid, it's an additional extra. So if I'm releasing a song, if you come right down to the bottom of your release, you'll see that we have some optional extras. And one of them is this YouTube Content ID, $4.95 per year plus 20% of YouTube ad revenue. And this is get notified and paid if your music is ever used in any YouTube videos. We'll add this single to YouTube's Content ID database and continually scan for matches. When your music is detected in any YouTube video, you'll be notified and ad revenue will automatically go to you instead of the person who uploaded the video. Now that all sounds cool, yeah. You're like, awesome, I add Content ID, I pay $5 a year, and then when people use my videos, I get 80% of that cash. Yes, if people use your videos, so here's what has to happen for you to get paid. You have to have a song popular enough that people are going to use it. You then have to have that song used in a video. You then have to have that song used in a monetized video. A monetized video that gets enough views to actually make any difference, and then you get 80% of any ad revenue that it actually pushed through that video. That's a lot of ifs, buts, and maybes, yeah? So if you've got a really popular song and Mr. Beast grabs it and uses it, now, Mr. Beast won't. Here's the thing. The reason that this is becoming less and less of a thing is that most YouTube content creators are very much well aware of this, and they will use royalty-free music. So if someone's just creating a tutorial, they're not going to grab your song and use it as the background music, because if they're monetizing it and they're trying to actually make a living, then they need to actually keep the revenue. So if I'm making a tutorial on Final Touch, I'm going to use my own song, knowing that I don't have YouTube Content ID on it. If I use someone's song that had YouTube Content ID, and let's say I got 100,000 views, which is very unlikely for my channel, but let's just say I did, those 100,000 views, maybe 10,000 of those would be monetized, which means people clicked ads or people were in regions or countries where it could be monetized. On average, let's just say that you were getting paid about 10 cents per one of those monetized views. You can see quickly here that it would take a lot. You would have to have a really popular song being used in really popular monetized videos. So it doesn't mean don't do it. Absolutely do it if you want to do it. But I think some people get excited and get super disappointed when they release their music with Content ID, because they think it's going to be this great thing, and every time anyone plays their song, they're just going to get a big wad of cash land in their doorstep. It doesn't work that way. To simply pay off the $5 a year that you're paying for it is a bit of a grind in itself, because think about it, it's got to be a monetized channel with a large audience and a very successful one. Alrighty, let's grab in here. Yeah, you get paid in carrots, as Guzzo says. We'll jump into our next question here while we drink coffee. Oh, crud. I realized that wasn't a question from the form, and I've just deleted. Brad, you asked a question in the form, and I'm super sorry. I just deleted it. See, this is the problem with this method, and I don't know how to undo here. I don't think there is an undo option in the form. So I apologize, Brad. No, there's no way I can undo what I just did. So I'm an idiot. I need a better way. I need to skip through the questions and then just delete them at the end. So Brad, if you are still here, then please put your question again in the form, or just drop it in the chat. I think you dropped it in the chat earlier. Just drop it in the chat, and I'll get to it. I'll get to it next. All right. Question here from EmoBot9000, still one of the coolest names in the world. Is there a way to adjust the attack on an instrument that doesn't have the knob? Attack on an instrument that doesn't have the knob. That's a good question. The short answer I'm going to say is no, and it depends. Though it does depend. It depends on the instrument you're using, and it depends on the use case that you're looking for there. So let's do our thing and jump on in. Where's my mouse? Where's my mouse for my iPad? Here it is. So what we're talking about here is, if we come in here, we'll add a new track. I'll bring this up on here. Boom. So if we're adding a new instrument, what we mean by attack is that some of our keyboard instruments in particular, so we come in here to keyboard, what's one that has it? Probably an Alchemy synth, something like a keys. I'm just hoping that something like the Chill keys is going to have it. So if we scroll across, where is it? No, so this one doesn't. Oh, yes, it does. There we go. So attack and release. So when you hit a button, we'll just turn the volume up here. When you hit a button, what you're noticing there, well, you're not, because there's a slight delay here with the audio coming through from the AirPlay. But the attack here is how quickly, when you tap a button, does it actually play that sound. If I turn the attack to really slow and I touch a key, hear how it like slowly fades in? Right? So that's what your attack is. And what our friend EmoBot is asking here is, what if an instrument doesn't have an attack setting? How can we actually do that? Can we adjust it? Well, the short answer is kind of no. The only way that you really could do that without an attack dial there on your instrument is to actually change the sound. So if we were, say, using, is it the string sound? I always have problems with the string sounds here to get them to have enough attack. So if we came in here to the strings, because you have this sort of, like, naturally strings have that sort of build up. So you could use a synth string here, or the only other real way, and it would be super clunky, would be to record the sound and then trim off the very start, so it kind of just hits straight in. But yeah, I can't think of any other way that you could work around that. You could also play around with a compressor that maybe might grab the sound a bit earlier, or that might actually sort of hit it hard. So Jade was playing around with the new compressor. What's it called? Schlap. the new Schlapp compressor, and that was doing some funky things to drums that were kind of messing with the attack and release and sort of flipping them around and changing them around. So compression can do pretty cool things when it comes to your attack and release. So that would be the other option that I would go with. But yeah, a good question, and hopefully more synth sounds and more instruments should just have attack and release, because if they don't, what is it, the ADSR, the attack, decay, sustain, release. That's that envelope that you have where you can set exactly how your sound will go. Right, Brad's question. Thank you, Jane. I apologize, Brad. Brad's question is, how do I unzip a file I have stored on a USB stick so that it returns to my recent folder in the GarageBand form? I hope that makes sense. How do you unzip a file stored on a USB stick so that it returns to my recent folder? So recent is a bit of a pain in the ass. Like, I ignore recent with a passion because it doesn't really work for me and it doesn't have the option. So if you're wondering what the heckaroonie we're talking about here, this is what we're talking. So if I come in here into my Files app, right? I'm here in my iPad. This is my Files app. So when you go to Files, down the left-hand side are all your locations. So I have on my iPad location where I can go in to all of my different apps that have storage. So if I want to go into my LumaFusion folder, check out all my media on that, my GarageBand folder, anything that I have on my iPad. Now, I store most of my stuff in iCloud Drive. So what I would do, and I've done in the past, and I've shown this before, I've got a Studio Live Today folder here. If I was bringing in a project or bringing in something, I would bring it into here as the zip file. I'd uncompress it, and then I'd instantly move the files directly to wherever I want them. So do I have any zip files? Let's just see if I have a zip file and we can show this. No zip there. Zip archive. No results. I don't have any zip files on my entire thing, or is that just searching in the wrong place? I don't have it. But let's pretend that I did. So if you've seen my demos before, what I would do is, if you were copying it, say from Google Drive or from a USB drive, it really doesn't matter, because a USB drive. Actually, you know what? Do I have a USB drive in my drawer here? I saw one floating around the other day, but yeah, you know what it's like. Trying to grab one when you just need it, and no, it's not going to be within reach. But a USB drive will just show up down the left-hand side here. If you search Pete John's USB files or Pete John's zip files, it'll give you a video about it. So it would just be another location here. So what I would always do is I don't use the USB drive. It's basically just a copying mechanism. So let's just say that instead of there, it was here in my audio share files that I wanted to move something. I can't believe that I don't have a zip file somewhere in my audio share files. I always have zip files everywhere. So say one of these was a zip file, I would just firstly move this. So we would select it, we would grab it there, and I would copy it. Well, in this case, I would move it. And if we go to iCloud Drive, I would just put it in my Studio Live Today folder that we were just talking about, and see how it's changed to copy there. So it's just going to copy it. It's not actually going to move it. So that's moved that file there. So pretend this is a zip file. I've now moved it over there. I'll then come in here to Studio Live Today, and there is the file there. So it's just a WAV file, yeah. But if it was a zip file, all I'd do is tap on it. That would uncompress whatever was in there, and say it popped out a project or another WAV file, then I move that. So then I do the same thing to move that to wherever I want to keep it. The recent folder, I find, is just a pain in the ass. It never works well, and it doesn't give you some of the same options that you can do from here within recent. You can see down here, you get less options. You can't compress and uncompress from the recent folder. In GarageBand, there's a few things you can't do with the recent folder. Recent folder is great if you don't know where you've saved something and it happens to be recent. But I would rather just come into iCloud Drive, use your search function to find things if you need to find them. There is a recent tab there that you can go to as well, but I just ignore it. To be very honest, I just ignore it. So if you're bringing something in, then yeah. And as Jade's saying here, you need to transfer the file to your device or iCloud Drive first. So yeah, so don't do it if you're here within Dropbox or Google Drive. You pretend that they're just the vessel. Don't use your USB drive, don't use Dropbox, don't use Google Drive, OneDrive, anything, unless it's an Apple platform. So unless you're actually in the Apple world, like you are here in iCloud Drive, it won't support things like GarageBand files. It'll corrupt them. If you ever had problems with trying to open a project and it says this is an invalid file type or this seems to be corrupt, it's probably because someone at some point in the chain has tried to, without zipping it up, has tried to share something across Google Drive, Dropbox, or a USB drive. So zip it up And once it's zipped, just pretend that that's like in a package, yeah? It's with the US Postal Service or it's with Australia Post. And then when you get it, you need to first bring it into your house. And your house is going to be your device, right? So you have to bring the package into your house. Don't leave it on the zip drive, on the USB drive. Don't leave it on the cloud platform. Copy it over into somewhere safe and cool, like you're on my iPad or your iCloud Drive location. And from there, tap it, unzip it, and then you can move it to wherever you want. Then store it permanently. So if you use the package analogy, you get the package, you bring it home from the post office, you unwrap it, uncompress it, and then you put it away in the cupboard if it's something cool. So your cupboard is the drive or the storage location you choose there. So yeah, exactly. Take it to the house. Take it to the house. All right. So hopefully that helps out. But yeah, check out the videos. If you search my name, and I've got ones about Google Drive, Dropbox. I've got USB, using USB drives. But yeah, definitely try to don't use things that are on USB drives directly. Copy them across to your device first. A little coffee, and then we will continue on. Now, before I delete this question, let's make sure I did actually answer it. So that was our EmoBot 9000 question, which we did talk about. And we'll delete that carefully. Need a better system here. I need to start doing what I did and download these to an Excel sheet. Oh, question from Moses. Do you recommend a good, affordable audio interface with 2 headphone outs? This is a challenge. So yes, but affordable is the tough one, because once you get to interfaces that have 2 headphone outs, you tend to start costing yourself a bit more. So what I'll do is I'll go to my gear guide at studiolivetoday.com/gear, and the audio interfaces that I recommend at the low end all don't have 2. They all have a single headphone output. The other question is what you're using the headphone output for and what you'll actually need the 2 headphone outputs for. So here's what I have here. The only one that actually has dual headphone outputs is this one, the UR44 from Steinberg. It's not the cheapest though. It's a fairly pricey interface, and it's a 4-channel as opposed to all these that are 2-channel. So the UR22, UR12, the Focusrite Scarlett, the Behringer Euphoria, iRig Pro, all of these only have a single headphone out. But if you go to the Steinberg UR44C, which is a very nice interface, it has the 2 independent headphone outs there, but it also has a $350 price tag. So if you're not in the market, if you want something more in the 150 to 200 mark, I don't think there's anything. Now, I don't think a lot of people love the Motu M2, but I think that also only has only the single headphone output on that one as well. So short answer is no. There are workarounds though. There's ways that you can do this. So what I would recommend, again, I'm promoting my own websites a lot here, but I've got a sub-page here on studiolivetoday.com called cables. So if you go studiolivetoday.com/cables, you go to my cable guide. And what I use is one of these suckers. So if you don't need to independently control the volume, you just want 2 people to hear your output, grab yourself one of these. They're like $3 or $4, I think, from memory. Definitely not cheap. Yeah, look at that. $3.70. You can pick yourself up one of these. All it is 2 stereo 1/4 inches in, 1 1/4 inch out. So when I'm recording my wife, for instance, she's recording audio and recording vocals, and I want to listen back to the audio, I'll just plug that into my UR22C or my Focusrite Scarlett 2i2, any interface that you have, and then I'll have one set of headphones, she'll have another. We're both hearing the exact same mix and the same volume, so that's the downside. You obviously then can't independently control your volume, but that's a way to go. Another option, of course, is to use a headphone amp. So a headphone amplifier is exactly what it sounds like. It's the ability to control multiple sets of headphones. And you can see there's a whole bunch of different sort of headphone amps and different ones with different numbers of channels here that you can actually use. And the beauty of this is that you can still use your original audio interface. So let's say you have a 2-channel audio interface and you spent $200 on it. Instead of having to trade that in and get something for $400 that has 2 headphone jacks, you could grab something like the PreSonus HP4, which is only $130. And what that does is you can plug your line your output directly into here. And then you can actually have up to 4 independently controlled headphones that you can actually monitor separately. So that's another option that you have there if you're looking for multiple headphones. But yeah, as Guzzo says here, I use a cheap splitter cable. Yeah, you can use the splitter cables that are basically that adapter, but with an actual cable that goes between them. And they're literally like $3, $4, $5 on eBay or Amazon or Sweetwater. So there you go. Brad says, yeah, that's so much easier. Thank you. We'll try it tonight and hopefully we'll solve all my problem. Yeah, absolutely. And look, it is, don't feel bad. It's a tough thing to get your head around because you really just have to think of it in terms of that. Just keep remembering that it's that wrapped up package. Your zip file is that wrapped up package, and you don't want to unwrap that sucker anywhere except in your own house. If you're out and about, if you're down on the street and you unwrap that, then things are going to go bad. Yeah, you don't want to open those brand new pair of kicks in the middle of a bad neighborhood, or they may not be with you for long, right? Sorry, I realize that's a bit judgmental, but you know what I mean, right? You know what I mean. All right. Nando Music says, firstly, man, I wish I could. Yeah, I know. I've mentioned it before, but every time I talk to the DistroKid folks, I say, when are you getting the app? When are you getting the app? I want to use my mobile. I want to use my phone. I want to use my iPad. Get the app. So hopefully it's coming soon. Nando, sorry, same again, says cheap little Rolls headphone amp is one of the best purchases you can make. A Rolls headphone amp. Let's see if Rolls. I'm not familiar, but I'll search it. Oh yeah, Rolls headphone amp. Let's see what this is, because this is where the community helps us out. I don't have all the answers, but other people can have the answers. So the only one I can find is this one here. Oh, that's a broadcast transmitter. Maybe Sweetwater don't have them. Yeah, I'll search around, but yeah, Rolls headphone amp. Why don't I just Google it? Because now I'm intrigued. Rolls headphone amp. Oh, okay, yeah. No. Yeah, no, they've only got very high end ones here that I can see. But yeah, I'm assuming it would do pretty much the same thing, which is give you additional headphone power and different thing. G-Loss says, what are your thoughts on Logic Pro? I don't have any yet because I haven't tried it. But from what I've heard from other folks, it's pretty darn cool. And what I'm doing, I'm going to do the free 90-day trial, but I'm going to spend a little more time, probably another month or two with GarageBand Mac, and then I'm going to jump in and wet my beak with a little Logic Pro. What do we got? We've got 6 minutes and we got like 3 questions left. Let's see if we can, if we need to hold over some questions till next week, we'll do that, but we'll see if we can get through these. Joe and Barry, Glenn, hello to you. Getting a random hum on some tracks while recording seemed to get the gain just right then. If I have to finish off the track using a separate track without changing any of the settings, I get this noise using the Steinberg UR22C and a Pencil AKG condenser mic. Any thoughts? Thanks, Pete. Hum is a really annoying thing. So the quick version of hum is that often it's related to power, but it's weird. It can seem to come and go. So other appliances, so the key things to try and reduce hum is try a different power outlet if you've got power plugged in. Try a powered USB hub, or try not a USB hub. Try using battery power if you have that option, if you have a portable battery that you can actually try, so that you're completely off because a lot of it is the ground loop. So the ground loop that gets in and creates that sort of low frequency that sits behind, that can be an issue. Moving other things away. So I find I get hum if I keep turning it on. If my mobile phone is too close to things, I start getting a hum. Any other electronic gear, sometimes your monitors, like actual literally computer displays, can generate their own sort of low-level hum, which is a bit of a pain in the ass. So yeah, I would look for those sort of options and those sort of things. But yeah, hum can really be a pain. It can really sort of destroy your fun, and especially when it comes and goes and it's not always there. Yeah, it can be a real problem. Also, unplug and plug back in. You can also check cables, try a different cable if you have a different mic cable or something like that. So it really is, unfortunately, it's one of those annoying things that it's a process of elimination. You can get, if it is a power problem, you can get a ground, what is it called? Like a power conditioner, a ground loop remover. So there's different things you can purchase. But I would try a few different options. Move to a different part. That's the beautiful part of being mobile. Move to a different part of the house, plug into a different power outlet, use a different power source, because a lot of it does come down to power in the end. But yeah, I would maybe ask that if you're on the Facebook group, ask that over at Create, Record, Release, because I bet folks like Jade Star and others have had experience and can probably give you even more tips when it comes to removing those annoying hum sounds. Abanob says, is there an app to know the time signature of my guitar playing? Because that's giving me a hard time. I don't know what time signature I'm using, just how to find out. So time signature or tempo. So for tempo, we covered this last week, and Bubba donated to the cause and helped me download was it Tempe that I did? I think it was. Anyway, what you can do, no, it wasn't Tempe. It was a different tempo app. Someone remember what it was, but it was there was an app that we tried last week. It was Beat, BPM. I can't remember. I definitely downloaded it. It wasn't this one, but it was similar. So if you want to know the tempo of what you're playing, you can hit the record button here, play along, and then it will say, yeah, that's at 120 BPM or 130 BPM. The actual time signature, whether you're playing in 3/4, 4/4, 5/4, 6/8, I don't know. I don't think there's anything that can kind of determine that for you. Not off the top of my head, because you kind of have to sort of just listen in and go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc. So time signature, the tempo is much easier. Yeah, the time signature, so I can add it to GarageBand. Yeah, no, I don't think there's any automated way to know the time signature, apart from to count. So I would just try and count it in, or do a recording and share it. Like, share it with a community. You're there on Facebook. Jump over to Create Record Release. Just go to createrecordrelease.com and jump in there, and you'll be able to do that. You'll be able to find that out. Now, I was about to ask Jade what she's doing. Directly after this show, join me on How to App on iOS, looking at the incredible voice synth app, much more than a vocoder. So that's cool. I get asked about vocoders a lot, so I do want to find out about that app, and I will be checking that out. So do what I do and jump over to Jade Starr's channel in just a moment. And yeah, you can use the tap function, the tap to tempo on your DAW. You absolutely can use that if you do want to do that. We've got one more question. I'll see if I can answer it in 2 minutes. Possibly not, but we'll see. It's a short one. So it's from Abanob again. So how to make sure I got all the instruments and loops on Mac and iOS. On Mac, you go into GarageBand and there's a setting there. You go to the GarageBand icon and download all sounds, and it will go in and download everything. I did it just a week ago. On iOS, go to the sound library. In fact, I can show you on iOS because I already have it displayed here. On iOS, you jump over here, you scroll over to sound library, you tap on that one, and anything that you have here that has new on it, then you can download. So the best way to do it is literally just to tap on each of these. You'll see there that I've actually got it downloaded. If it doesn't say downloaded and it has a get button, hit the get button and it will start downloading, and you'll have all the sounds in the world. Alrighty, so thank you everyone for being here. If you got some value out of this, if you had fun listening to some of the answers, or I was able to answer some of your questions, or at least point you in the right direction, thumb love is a thing that you can do by hitting the thumbs up button down below. If you're not already subscribed, if you're new to the channel, we are here every day. We have something new for you every single day. So do subscribe, because you will be notified when things come out. And join the mailing list. Jump over to studiolivetoday.com. There you can join the mailing list, check out the gear guide, the cable guide, all of the other free tools that I showed in this video are available for you and for free. So, and if you do want to support me even more, Patreon, patreon.com/patrons. Be like Andy and Joe. So two of my newer patrons, so Joe Glenn, Andy Goldsby. Thank you to you folks. You rock. If you want to join the fun of Patreon, patreon.com/patrons. Until next time. Oh yeah, and Joey Helpish has got a show straight after Jade is doing How to Song. So you just follow the bouncing ball. And then later today, in 4 hours time, old time rock and roll. We'll be playing some cool tunes from the 60s and 70s right here on the happy hour. So I hope you can join me for that. Let's go Rangers. I need to go and get ready because I need to watch at least the first period of that before the happy hour. They're playing the Islanders again. They got crushed the other night. So hopefully a little better. Thank you everyone for being here. Please be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. Keep creating